Guys, I don't know how else to say this other than owning up to it. I mean, I dropped the ball on my most anticipated album releases for 2016. How did I overlook Rachel Platten? I mean, the album that just everyone was clamoring for. I mean, the follow-up single to Fight Song, Stand By You, just everyone saying, "Where's the album, Rachel?" And then it finally drops, and I just totally somehow overlooked that. And then listening through this thing, I just have to say that I am completely amazed at how forgettable it is. Shyamalaned you with that twist, didn't I? What's up, guys? John from ARTV. It's time for my first album review for 2016, Miss Rachel Platten, and her third full-length album, Wildfire. Didn't get a ton of requests for this, but I had so many viewers really on each side of the fence with Fight Song, her massive single that kind of broke through to the mainstream. I believe it was top 20 in the US, kind of a worldwide minor hit, if I don't say so myself. Got on stage with Taylor Swift. Hey, kudos to you, that's awesome. What little did I know before going into this review, doing a little bit of research, because I really knew next to nothing about Miss Platten before going into this album. She's actually been in the world of music for quite a while now. In fact, her debut album came out over a decade ago. Fight Song is not that annoying to me though. I had a lot of viewers saying, "Why isn't this on your worst songs list?" And I had a couple saying, "Well, why isn't this on your best songs list?" It's on neither. It's just like it wants to get everyone riled up, everyone united as one. We're not gonna take it anymore. We're all gonna stand up and fight for ourselves. We're putting our foot down this time. When in reality, it's just a mediocre, semi-bland pop song. Not bad per se, but not something that I would find myself going out of my way to listen to. That's really how I felt about a lot of this record in general. All I have to say for Fight Song, and maybe a little bit of the success that Stand By Me is seeing, enjoy it while you can, Rachel, because I do not see this being a lasting effect. In fact, I don't think Wildfire is an album that will be remembered in T-minus 1 month. It's just gonna be one of those things that you breeze through, you listen to it a few times, and you were like, oh, well, there were a couple of songs in there, but this sounds kind of samey, and there's a lot of songs that just, I don't know, I feel like I've heard this before. I'm not saying that Rachel Platten has no vocal talent, though, and I don't want you to think that's what I'm getting at. It's just that the songs that she's working with here are just totally flat. I mean, all of her presence and any identity that she might have is just drowned in the production and the cliches that just run down this beaten path that no one really wants to go down again. I think the worst thing about this record is that it's trying to find another hit. Every song seems like it's trying to replicate and build off of the success of Fight Song. No, they don't all sound like that, but they all go for these like big anthemic choruses, but the anthems just aren't there. It doesn't really add up. It's like the production builds and builds and builds and tries to make it sound really epic, or else sell it as something very emotional and something very vulnerable or relatable. And it just isn't there. It's like doing a math equation. You're plugging everything in and then you get the wrong answer. A few of these songs are syrupy sweet enough, and I can't really fault them for that. I mean, they're fun at times, and we'll get to that in a minute, but what makes this a truly punishing listen for me, especially in some parts, I mean, I'm talking tracks like Superman that just try so hard to be uplifting. I can picture Platten like singing this song to herself in the mirror along with a handful of others on this record, just like she's really trying to reassure herself that she doesn't even actually believe what she's saying. That's a huge problem on this record. It just runs in these lyrical cliches about just being you and being something more and just overcoming, and then all of the songs end up sounding the same. And that's not only because of what she's saying on the tracks, it's because of this production. The way it comes together just sounds very muddled, very messy, and songs bleed into each other and become forgettable as a result of that. I mean, the sloppy songwriting definitely didn't do it any favors, but I think really everything added up to just make a bad listen. I mean, just listen to the songwriting. Just listen to an example of the songwriting on this record. This is from the song Congratulations. My tears are instruments, and they sound like consequences. I mean, if I was her teacher and I was grading a paper and somebody wrote something like that, I don't even know what I would say. Wow, Rachel, great moves. Keep it up. proud of you. I hate how hard some of these tracks try to sell themselves, like beating me up. She's like talking about this aggressive warfare that she's in with her heart. Or even on Stand By You, she's just pledging her undying love. I'm gonna stand next to you, I'm gonna be your rock, etc., etc. And it's just like the little engine that couldn't. She can't get there. She's trying so hard to sell you on this one thing, like, hey, I'm this really solid person, I'm just gonna be there for you, but no, we're not buying it, Rachel. Congratulations tries a stab at being a bitter ballad and just ultimately falls on its face, and then You Don't Know My Heart tries to be really, really edgy, and then the chorus comes around, and I just cringe so hard because the production is just flat, and what is going on there? The repetitiveness there and everything about it just makes me want to shut it off immediately. I mean, what do we even have left to talk about at this point? Okay, so I suppose Astronauts isn't all that bad. I mean, she tries to like explore her creativity there and her imagination and explores all of these far out places and these ideas and things she wants to do. It's not that bad. And then we get the track with Andy Grammer, who's seen a lot of success in the world of pop music in the past year or two. He's had a couple of hits. He's got another one coming up the charts now, and that's the track with Rachel Platten, Hey Hey Hallelujah. It appears on her record and the deluxe edition of his album, Magazines or Novels. And I have to say that this is the only song that I really like on this record. It's the only one that I could truly see myself coming back to in the future. I honestly think the worst part of this track is Andy Grammer's feature. I mean, he just sounds out of place here, and it sounds like he's trying to almost be like a rap feature on a track, even though he's just kind of singing on it. And the whole Hallelujah Jeff Buckley name check thing, please, no. Andy, you're not a rapper, man. The song's catchy as hell, but I do think that the verses are considerably weak whenever paired up against that chorus. It's just got this fervent hook on it, and I used the term syrupy sweet earlier, and syrup sticks. I could easily see myself, like I said, coming back to this and gravitating towards it in the future. I'm all for inspiring songs in the world of pop music that aren't about sex, drugs, booze, and glamorizing that whole lifestyle, but this album just isn't it. There's not enough substance here, not by any means. Sweep this under the rug because you're not going to remember this, not by the end of the month most likely, but definitely not by the end of 2016. By that time, Platten's going to be crying in a corner somewhere, clinging onto that Fight Song Platinum trophy that she received, saying, why couldn't I make this song 12 times and replicate the success? Wildfire gets a 2 from me.